Alright, I'm doing a tutorial on Ostranauts, and just going to go through the tutorial of Ostranauts in this. So just try and go through all of the settings and stuff, and through the first portion of the game, and then we'll probably start a new one after that, just to get an intro. So we'll do new, and skip past this screen, and let it load. Okay, now that it's loaded, I'm going to go ahead and swap some settings around. We'll make it Craig and no mail, and then we're going to change this to he, him, and she, her for flirts with. If you want to flirt with everybody, you can check them all, but and then we're going to go ahead and change this around. We want some presets here. We want to have skin 2, hair 5. Oh, gotta go way around. I got lots of new hairs since last time I did much. So we got hair 5 on, and then scar 1. We're not scarred yet. I'm sure we'll explode and get scarred though. Glasses 1, beard, we want to have 33. And then pupils as 11. Eyes is 1. Nose as 5. Teeth don't matter too much. Don't just when you're screaming and about to die, then you can see your teeth. Outside of that, should be fine. We'll do lips as 7. Head as neck as 2. Head as 2, and we'll do body as 1. Okay, so that's the settings that I had planned out for this. So we'll go ahead and do switch to the character screen. So there's a little intro here. I'll leave this up in case anybody wants to read it, and then scroll down. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. So this is the choose your own, well, this is the adventure screen. You can go through for a certain amount of years. The longer you take, you might get to old age or such, and get some other negative attributes. So I try and stay under 28 just to stay as I believe it's a young adult. So yeah. First, there's save money here. I almost never use that just because it's more profitable to do the seek adventure and get the skills and stuff. But that is an option if you want. You can review your resume, which will show all of your traits and skills and stuff. So right now it's just the default. So we're going to go ahead and do seek adventure first, and we'll go through and do a couple of these quests. So yeah, Zozo, a woman calls, you stop what you're doing, mouth dry. So do the dozens or so other day workers in the cramped dormitory, a silver class in ASC barracks. That's the signal for the next pod over. They're coming. Outside the door and up the access corridor, you hear the clatter of mag boots marching in double time. A half dozen of your neighbors flee through the back door. Moments later, you hear a series of sharp cracks and screams. Shocker rounds, you hope. You've got a moment to act. What do you do? So each one of these will give you some kind of skill gain or money gain or such. For this one, I usually do the fake pressure alarm because it'll give you both a genius attribute and a hacking skill. A couple of the other ones will give you stuff as well. I'm not going to go through that here, but we may do another video on that in the future. So we'll do fake pressure alarm. If you see over here, it's going to say that you are now skilled in hacking and a genius. And then it goes through, on some stations, hackers are monitored with the same vigilance as states seeking nuclear capabilities, but back on old Earth. Do you have the technology needed to perform a cyber attack? Do they have the motivation, the skills, the opportunity, the support network? This is a good example of why such precautions exist. So each one of these is going to have some text associated with it. Not sure if people want me to read that kind of stuff or not, but I'm going to go ahead and skip through it for now, just to get through the tutorial, because otherwise it's going to be quite long. So we'll go ahead and hit OK here. So now we have a couple more abilities. So what we can do is we can go to work on self, and if we want, let's say we didn't actually want the genius ability, we can go down here and remove it, and now we have 3 years we can use to swap in. I'm going to go ahead and remove both hacking and genius because there's some other adventures that can get you those, and we can go ahead and add them back later. I'm going to go ahead and remove some of our negative features. So one of the biggest ones we want to remove pretty much always is this micro G hypervolemic, which is blood flow issues. You want to remove this because it lowers your defense to have it, and you get cold quicker, you get hungry quicker. It's a lot of bad stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. It's a cheap one to remove. And then we're going to go ahead and remove fragile, because this isn't one that I've figured out how to train. Maybe getting beat up a bunch fixes it. I'm not sure. So we're going to leave that removed. And then we'll go ahead and remove unfit. So that'll put us at 0, which is a good spot. We'll hit apply, and we'll probably come back and do that a couple more times. So we'll seek adventure. We can notify corporate. That will get you some not so good abilities. I believe it'll give you the business admin one, which people seem to like now, but I'm not partial on it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the bribe boss to get a little money and split profits. So that gave us 750 bucks. We got oligarch etiquette. And we'll go ahead and hit OK. And then we'll go ahead and do another one. This is one that I almost always pick Start a Riot because it gives you a lot of abilities. It can sometimes give you a negative one, which is Strain Back, but I haven't found any downsides to it yet. So we'll go ahead and do Start a Riot. And then we gained Persuasion, Folklore, Unarmed Melee, Charismatic, Leader, and Strained Back. That's the negative one I was talking about. We also gained some money. So, as I said, I haven't found any drawbacks to it, but I'm sure there is. So we'll go ahead and click OK, and then we'll go ahead and just remove most of these things we gained. So we want to remove Persuasion, Unarmed Melee. I almost never keep Unarmed Melee. Folk Etiquette, and Charismatic, and Leader. And then we're going to remove some of these other negative ones. So immuno suppressed, bad for if you get an infection. Insomniac, we really want to be able to sleep when we need to. And we want to get rid of visually impaired, which is bad for your defense. So we're pretty well cleaned up. We have 6 years to spend though. So I'll usually use these for some of the abilities that don't come up. I just use them as kind of placeholders. So I'm going to go ahead and put Comedian and Gregorius, because I've never seen them come up as a skill you gain. I'll hit apply. We're still only 21, so I'm going to go ahead and seek adventure again. This is one where if you have the gambling ability, you have a chance to be able to get this. You can also just grab it and run, have a stolen ship. Usually I just do no thanks and fold, which will give you that gambling, call him on a technicality, which will give you the gambling trait and a little bit of money. So we have $300 now and a gambling skill. So we'll click OK, and we're going to go ahead and remove said gambling skill. And we'll go ahead and add in, we'll be a painter for a little while, just for fun. We'll seek adventure again. We'll go ahead and hack the lock, which will give us, I believe it's hacking and leader. There we go. And also some things that pop up is contacts. So you'll have them as somebody you can, they'll give you quests and stuff or tasks that you can do later. So we'll go ahead and remove hacking and what was the other one? Leader. Remove that guy, we'll give him kind. And why don't we do Iron Stomach just for fun for now. Alright, we'll go ahead and seek adventure again. This one I usually choose Jury Rate the Engine. It gives you a couple good ones as well. You lose a little money, but it's not a big deal. So we lost 150 bucks. We gained Mechanical Engineering, Brave, and Coordinated. So we'll go ahead and click OK. And I think that's enough for now. So we'll go ahead and work on self and just clean up everything. So I'm going to go ahead and remove Mechanical Engineering. We'll remove Painting. We're done painting for now. We'll remove Brave and Comedian and Coordinated. And Gregorious. And Iron Stomach and Kind. Just kind of give us a clean slate to work with. We'll remove Feeble. And we'll leave the slow metabolism because that'll give us more food. So we have 16 years of training to work with. So we're going to go up here to the top. And we want hacking. We want EVA suits. We want electric engineering. That gives us 8 to work with. We want armed melee, so we can defend ourselves in case we run into a pirate. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to choose tough, because I said before, I haven't found a way to train this up, and it's a good one. I also like to have optimist. I think this makes it so that you don't lose your moodlets, I guess. I don't know what they're, I can't remember what they're called specifically, but keeps your altruism and stuff up, if I recall. Okay, so that's all of those. We still have 4 years to work with, so I'm going to go with combat engineering, and we'll go with persuasion. Hopefully that'll help us hire crew or persuade them to work for a lesser amount. So let's go ahead and hit apply, and now we can look at our resume. We have a nice resume now, got rid of most of the bad stuff. And we can, from here, we're done with all these and we want to seek a ship. So normally, seek a ship is going to give you a random ship that you can choose if you want or not, and then you can continue and then go to the next next one and lose a year if you do. I added a mod in and modified it a little bit to add in my own ship, so when I do seek a ship, it gives us a choice of which one. So I'm going to go ahead and choose, we'll do the makeshift salvage pod because it adds a little more interesting things. For your first one, I would highly recommend against doing the retrofitted shipping container because it's a bit of a death trap unless you know what you're doing. So maybe down the line, it's super cheap. It's only like just under 100,000, so the mortgage is tiny. But the makeshift salvage pod is pretty good too. Mortgage-wise, I think it's 300,000 or so. So we'll go ahead and choose that guy. Yeah, 383,000 is mortgage, so we only pay 1,000 a month, which some of the other ones are over 2,000 a month. The drawback of this guy is there is open space right here between your airlock and your ship, so you got to be a little careful going between. So we'll go ahead and take the ship, click OK, and then we can start. So tutorial pop-ups, I'm going to go ahead and mute the tutorial at least so it doesn't pop up the window. We can still see it in the objectives area. Right. Oh, goals, sorry. If you go to current. So right now it's saying to press the space bar or the triangle play button to start time. So right now we're paused, so it's talking about this guy. So we can press space bar to start time, and it's going to give us our next goal. So up here, it's asked to do the hold left to see hotkeys. So left alt shows hotkeys and the background of the some of the hidden things that'll be in the dark, like the fridge up here and such, until we turn on the lights. So this objective is asking you to left click this object pop up to target it. So we're targeting the switch right now. It wants us to center the view on it. We want to right click on the switch and then do toggle power it on. Now we have lights and we can see stuff. So now it wants us to look at our character. So we have our portrait right here, so you can click on that or press the I and it'll bring up the actual window, and it wants us to put on our jumpsuit. So the jumpsuit's right here on the ground, and we can go ahead and put that guy on, and might as well put our shoes on too. So if you put your shoes on incorrectly, it's going to complain, because that would be uncomfortable. So we're going to put them on the correct feet, and we got ourselves a box of cigarettes and some nachos. That is in our hip pocket of our jumpsuit. It's asking us to go ahead and grab our pressure suit stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and rifle through all the containers here just so we can get some more stuff to be able to sell. So we got ourselves a shirt, and we got ourselves another shirt and another box of cigarettes. Put that on the ground to get some room. And then we'll go ahead and check this guy out. More stuff. And now we'll go ahead and check the box. So we'll put our pressure suit inside of our bag, which we can put on our back right here. You can also carry it in a hand or drag it. If you drag it, you're going to move slower. So let's put all this stuff on the ground in our inventory, so we can maybe make a little bit of money. And then let's grab anything in the fridge. So we got ourselves an empty container. So let's go ahead and see if we can fill that up. So if you open the inventory of both your drink container and the station sink, you can just drag and drop some into it. If you do dispense liquid, I believe it will put it in a container also, but I think it'll do it just one portion at a time, so you have to do it multiple times. And we got our toolbox, which comes with a couple basic tools, and yeah, that's all for this room. So now that we have our pressure suit, it wants us to go to our ship, but we'll do a couple things first. So once you exit your room, it's going to give you this whole little spiel of your in the K-Leg and little background information on the K-Leg. So we'll go ahead and continue. And one Easter egg that you can do is down here. There is a switch, so you can toggle that on, which will activate this door, and you can go in here and get yourself a brand new secondhand crowbar, which is quite useful for opening doors and crates and stuff. So we'll go ahead and take that for ourselves. Second little Easter egg is this guy you can install in this door to open it, but you can also, if you have that crowbar we just got, you can use it to pry the door open, which then you can save that cable for other stuff. Now that this is open, you got yourself a little rack in the corner, and in that rack we got a welder. Put that in a pouch, and we got ourselves a combat knife, so in case we run into pirate. Okay, so one thing, if you notice, there's a bunch of dark area around here. You can't really see what's going on as well. It's kind of, you can see there's people over here still, but it kind of blocks you from seeing a bunch of the area. So if you press F1, that'll light that area up, which is, I like having that on just for screenshots and just general playing. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and head over here and sell a bunch of the stuff that we just picked up. Because we don't really need it, but a little extra cash is good. My guy's already hungry. That's weird. Well, alright. So this is the scrap kiosk, so we can sell lots of stuff here, but not everything. So usually bits and bobs you find around the area you can sell. So we're gonna head. Oh, whoa! Oh, it's the Mariner shirt. So this thing's worth a ton. We got lucky and found it in a container, so that's pretty rare. So we'll sell those guys, and we want to keep our food for now because apparently we're already hungry. Sell this trash, sell these cigarettes, and we'll get rid of these hygiene packs also. And that'll give us a little bit more room in our inventory. Might as well sell this cable too. Alright. Our bags look a little better now. I'm going to go ahead and... Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move over here. Sometimes there's a couple things just hidden around this area. In these two crates, or two bins, and then on the floor here. So I'm going to go ahead and check this guy out. Just some trash, nothing useful. And we'll check this guy out. We got ourselves another crowbar, which is in basically the same condition as ours. We got ourselves a couple other things, some mechanical parts for fixing stuff, and a blister kit for sealing a wall. We'll go ahead and check out what's in here. We got a spare screen. We'll keep that because I believe we could use it to repair the tutorial ship. So let's go talk to this scrap kiosk again. I'm going to go ahead and sell the container. And I'm going to sell the shoes. Just because I don't have the space for them right now. And the blister kit. Alright. Oh, it's trash. No, not the drink. And one of these. Alright. How are we doing on space? Wait. Didn't sell them. That's weird. Try that again. Sell. Max 1. Is there anything else that I missed? Nope. Alright. Alright, does that give me... Okay, good. Got some space back. So, we'll put this guy in here, and then we'll go ahead and swap into our pressure suit. And let's put this guy in my hand, and this guy in here. This, the light will help for seeing on derelicts, but we'll get to that later. I'd like to go ahead and go get a drill before we go anywhere. And we have a bunch of money from that shirt, so may as well do it. So let's go over to the supply kiosk over here. And we want ourselves a GOT power drill, one of them. And we're going to go ahead and put that in our clip point. Gets a little more space. Put the knife in here, and we'll put our helmet on. Alright, looks like the maintenance guy wants out. We need to change the roster to to allow us to get out the airlock. That's kind of just a thing to let you know that that's there and prevent your guy from spacing himself. Alright, so we're going to go over here. I'll let this mechanic out, and they'll go, hopefully be able to get back in. Alright, so now that we're on our ship, our O2 alarm went back off, so if you look, this is space right here, so that's why we had to have our helmet on going between. And here we have some O2, which is the green number, the 22.13, and here we have O2, and in here there's a very lack because we opened up the airlock to space. So once this door gets opened, it should fill back up. But since we're in a safe area now, we're going to go ahead and take our helmet off. Sounds like we got somebody nearby because I can hear the alarm going off. Alright, so it wants us to right click anywhere to see the compartment. So we want to right click until, if you right click once, it'll do the first item, and then if it's stacked, so let's say the nav console, it'll be nav console first, then the floor, and then compartment. And then if you expand out that, the show more, it'll give you information on what's in the compartment gas wise. Okay, so next goal is going to be to see the damage in our ship. This is a bit of a fixer-upper, so if you hit X twice, it'll bring up the overlay. The redder it is, the more damage. So this was actually a patched piece, which is why it's so red. And same with this one. The rest of them are just a dim red, but as they get more damaged, it'll turn brighter. So it would now like us to restore the nav station. So we right click on it, and we can either press 3 or click on it. So we'll go ahead and do that. It's restoring it 18 times. So if you actually look at the restore, it says it's using the screwdriver and the soldering tool. So this guy and this guy. So right now it's doing it 18 times because we have the power drill and a soldering iron. So if we take off the drill and put it on just the screwdriver, it's only doing it times 9, so it's much slower. So that's one of the upsides of why we got the drill. Alright, so that's repaired enough. And it wants us to now turn off the damage view and use the nav station. Alright, so this little paper that pops up is how to control your ship when flying around. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that, but you can actually bring it back up by clicking the little paper right here. Okay, so the goal is we want to go to comms controls, which is on this side right here, and they want us to hail, I believe, the OKLG and request undocking. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then once we got approval, we can go ahead and click clamps, and that will release us from the station. It would now like us to select the station. So that's this guy right here. If we click on it, it will put a little crossover and it'll bring up its information right here. It will now, it's going to ask us to use E to rotate our ship. So we still have, I got to retarget the station. This is how we're pointed at the station. So if it's at 360 or 0, we're basically pointed directly at it. If we hit E, it's going to start rotating and changing that number. So we're slowly pointing away. Now it's going to want us to turn back, and you can press R to stop turning. Alright, goals. Rotate controls. Okay, it wants us to bring it down to 0. So we got to target this guy, and then rotate a bit more. Alright, now we are back at 0, and we want this to back up to 200 meters per second. So that's relative velocity to the OKLG. So I'm going to press S to back out of here until this hits 200. Right? And now it would like us to go press W, which is forward, to get down to 10. I think when I just targeted that, it changed it, the goals. Okay, yeah, it just skipped through that because I accidentally retargeted stuff. But it basically will have you go to the side and to the left just to make sure you know how to move. So once it's to scroll out, after you finish those, it's going to spawn a derelict really close. If we target it and turn towards it, you can't turn or move while it's paused, so that was what that was complaining about. I get the BRG to 0, or close to, and then we're going to go ahead and zoom towards it. So we want to change the VCRS, which is whether we're off to either side of it, to 0 also. So right now it looks like we're going off to the right of it, so we want to get that back towards 0-ish, and then we want to go ahead and head towards the ship. We want to get, it said we want to get within 5 of it, which is RNG, 5 kilometers. So we can speed up time to get there a little quicker using the right and left brackets. Okay, so we're clear the proximity warning because it's loud, and it wanted us to, I believe, match speed. Oh, it wants to slow down. Alright, and then we need to press K to match speed. Oh, gotta retarget it. Which will put us down to the same speed as it. Since it's not moving, it'll put us at 0. And basically puts us right in line with it. It wants us to click the comms console, comms controls on the side, and we want to hail it. And then this is the closest ship, so that's going to be it. And we want to initiate docking. So it's going to be like, oh, well, no response because there's nobody there. And now we have a little mini game of targeting to try and dock with it. So one thing I usually get stuck with is this match speed gets stuck. So we have to press K to turn that off, otherwise it'll stop us from docking. So I'm going to go ahead and press W to move forward. We want to get, usually I try and go in at about 90-ish, so if we accidentally miss, we don't take damage. If you go too much faster than that, it starts going red, so let's say that, it'll go to yellow and red, and you could take damage from running into it. So we want to line this up using the W and D key, or the A and D key, and then slowly move in. At some point, depending on how big your ship is and how big that ship is that you're trying to dock with, you'll get within range of being able to dock with it, which will light up the little sides with green. So we'll go ahead and move in. If you start drifting, you can go ahead and move it off to the side. So we gave it a little love tap there. We have the green all lit, so that means we can go ahead and press clamps to connect. And it's going to complain that we do not have a license. The tutorial takes care of that, so we'll come back to that shortly. But we'll go ahead and pop off the nav, and it tells you that we're at our first derelict. So little bit of story there, and we'll go ahead and make sure and put our helmet on. Alright, so we want to go over here. The goal is that we want, oh, it wants us to put our lamp on. So we'll go ahead and toggle that on. Alright, so next goal, they want us to read the permit here. So it's saying that we have a permit that is valid for today, so 8/26 until 16:02, so 2 hours from now. So we'll go ahead and pick that guy up, put it in our inventory, and that will trigger the next goal, which is to press X to see power. So this will show where power is going. You can see it's going everywhere in our ship and what's powered and such. This is just going to the battery. So we're going to go ahead and head over to the room over here and install this conduit. That will allow us to power the door. So let's go ahead and speed this up and then move on. Is there anything in here? No. Move on to the next room. And now it would like us to go ahead and let's remove a cable from here and install it in this spot right there so that we can power the next door. And then we'll go ahead and press 3 to install. And then now you can see it lit up over here. So let's go in here. And then it's saying we just released all the gas. And that not sure why that didn't trigger. Oh. Anyway, the goal is after this to loot this area and take it back to your ship and then go sell it. So we'll go ahead and grab the stuff that's useful. If you look when you highlight an item, it will have a little dollar rough estimate. So $3 signs is pretty good. Usually thrusters, O2 cans, N2 canisters are all small and give you a bunch of money. RCS is worth a little bit too, but not as much as the rest. This is damaged, so we have to repair it, but it's worth a lot of money, so we'll probably try and figure out bringing that with us. Not a lot of room on our ship, so it will be interesting. But let's start by uninstalling the thruster. And then we'll uninstall the O2. So once you start doing something for the first time that you haven't before, that you don't have skill in, it will start saying that you're starting to train that thing. So right here, it's saying that we started training a bunch of skills. I think the robotic engineering one happened when we did the nav console. But yeah, let's go ahead and uninstall the rest of this stuff. I'm going to grab one of these and bring it back with us to the ship while we go get refill our air. It's not the O2 that we're running out of, but we're getting too much CO2 if you see this alarm in the corner. So let's go ahead and drop off this this thruster, and then we'll head into our ship. Wait for the alarm to go off, okay. And now we can get some air. So we've refilled our air, and we're going to head back over and see if we can grab some more stuff. I'll go ahead and uninstall this the rest of the way. I think there's a crate in here, or a bin in here. Ooh, that's slow. Well, let's do it. Usually this door is functional, which you can enable, but for some reason it's not on this one. Alright, so let's see if there's this guy a couple things and uninstall it. Alright, grab it, put these guys into a different container so we can grab a bunch of stuff with this. We want to grab these parts for repairs and the RCS and N2 containers and an O2 container. This guy doesn't have any gas in it, so it's not worth as much as the other ones. Usually the gas is actually what's worth the most. Let's grab that. And I guess we'll come back and grab this guy. Hoping to use these floor plates for room for the nav console. So we'll drop this guy on the ground right here. And we'll see if we can install a couple of these plates. This is just so we can have some extra room on the ship for bringing stuff back. Alright, we gotta get some, clear out our CO2 again. Alright. Install hull, floor. I think we had 3 of them. So we could use this to install just random ones. Alright, and then we'll speed it up. So we'll need at least 2 more to fit the nav console. Nav station, nav station. So let's go back and get the rest. This guy, pick up you, and then we'll uninstall a couple plates. Alright, let's drag this guy back. And then we want to install hull, floor, do random bits and bobs. Alright. Oh, okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn off repairs for now because otherwise he'll spend his time repairing the ship forever. We'll do that later. Oh. Alright. Magically I can fit the nav console, hold it through the door. But we need air, so go back on, and let's go wrap up this last piece. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this nav console down. And then the last thing I want to grab is we'll open this so it stays open. And we're going ahead and have a bunch of room? 6. We'll not worry about that for now. Uninstall. It could be a budget dolly if you find a rack of decent size. But I just want this battery. Put this guy down right here. And we are done with our first derelict. So, did this ever move on? No, it didn't. It'll basically tell you just to go back to the station and sell stuff. So we'll go ahead and head back there. So I want to tell the ship I'm leaving. And then we'll go ahead and target the OKLG, turn to face it. go straight because we might run into that. So we want to kind of go to the side first a bit. And then we'll curve back around and get our VCRS at about 0. So we'll speed up to about 200 just to get there quickly. And then let's go ahead and line this guy back up. Point at the station, and it should complain at us shortly. All right, 5K, we'll go ahead and turn off the proxy, and we want to let them know we would like to dock. The second alarm right here is not the station, but it's the asteroid or planetoid. Can't remember what it is offhand. So we'll clear that out, and then we'll come in for our landing. Speed that up. Oh, we gotta slow down, don't we? Don't want to come to there at 200. Might end up going splat. All right, so just try and guide our way in. Alright, and then we have green, so we'll clamp. And we finished our first run. So I'm going to go ahead and put my helmet on. And I'm going to pick up this guy. Actually, put these guys down. This guy here. I'm going to put these guys right here so we can fix them up without worrying about being spaced or running out of CO2. No, having too much CO2. Alright, so let's open this so we can get some air in this area. This is just another story. We've arrived back at the station. We'll open this up. And now we now have breathable atmosphere. And we're going to go ahead and repair these two. So you press 3 to restore. We'll go ahead and do that. Sometimes these will change, especially if you're standing over an airlock. It'll have the jettison, which I've had many of times where I've accidentally jettisoned things, so keep an eye on where the actual numbers are. So we'll fix that up. I feel like there's a little bar here, kind of hard to see with the airlock, but we're just going to head and fix these guys fully up so they sell for the full value. You can sell them damaged or, not full, but it will not sell for as much. So now that we've done that, let's repair the battery too. Looks like somebody wants in. I wonder if I could run off with them. Alright, so let's go ahead and put our helmet back on, and then we're going to go grab this guy and move everything back to our ship. I'm doing that so that we can set up a zone for bartering. Second thing I'm going to do is restore this battery so that we can fill it up with more juice next time. The more wear it has on it, the less juice it can hold for powering the ship, and then you won't be able to go out as long. I try only go to ×8 speed just because ×16 can sometimes cause lag and issues. Grab this guy while we go get some air. And let's go finish up the job. Alright, so if you look at this, the charge, this yellow line, has gone down since repairing. So that's just because there's more room to store in the battery. So alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is we'll go ahead and remove our helmet, and we need to repair the nav console. So that requires a screwdriver, so we have that, soldering tool we have, and a screen, a heatsink, a motherboard, 5 electric parts, and some scrap steel. So a lot of that we don't have. We do have a screen, I believe, but all the rest of the stuff we do not have right now. So let's see. Yeah, there's the screen. So we need a motherboard, heatsink, and 5 electric parts, and some scrap steel. So let's go ahead and see what we can buy. I'm going to go ahead and sell some stuff that we have some space. So we'll sell this cable, this extra welder. It doesn't have a battery, so it's not really useful right now. We'll sell the Holden patch. That should give us enough room for stuff. And then we'll go ahead and buy a heatsink, a motherboard, 5 parts, and 1 scrap steel. Alright, so 169 is our cost. We don't want to send it to a barter zone because we want to have it on us, so I'll accept that. Now we have all those bits and bobs in our inventory. Let's go ahead and repair. Go ahead and oop. Looks like I picked it up and started repairing, so I'm going to put that back down. Otherwise it does some weird things. Alright, so it's got all the stuff in, and now I'm just going to go ahead and repair it. So repairing a damaged piece has to go down the other way, and then once it's repaired, once it's all at the bottom, it'll be pretty low restoration or durability, and then you'll have to repair it back up to get its full sell value. So we'll go ahead and do it at 8 times to get it a little faster. And if you look, hold it, and then we'll do restore. If you look at your character while it does that, since he's not skilled in robotics, it's actually showing that he's actually gaining skill on it. That little arrow means that it triggered that skill gain. It takes quite a while to train it, but it's useful to be able to do that. Something I added a couple patches ago, I believe. So get that fully repaired. Now I'm going to put my helmet on, and we'll plop this back on our ship. And alright, that's on the ship. Let's head back off. And then we're going to set up what's called a zone. So on our PDA, this guy, add a new zone. So this is for selling and hauling and a couple other things. So we just select an area. So I'm just going to do the whole ship for right now. Add zone, and we can edit that zone. So we want to add this area too, and these guys, and that guy. I think that's all the locals. So you can, the main thing we want to do is barter, but we'll do haul also. And then now when we interact with a vendor, we can sell to them. For this tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and talk to the license only. in one of the other areas, you can trade with the black market, which can give you a little more value for your money. But we'll go ahead and sell, and we can see our new zone 1. And we can sell the nav console. If you install it, you can also potentially pull off some data that you can sell as well. But we'll just go ahead and do the nav console for this. So that gives us 9K, and it cost us 169 in parts to repair. So it's very well worth it. It may takes a little time, but it's worth it. And then the RCS is just about 1,000, and the RCS intake is 1,000, and the thruster is 3,000. So as I said, those will sell more other places, but yeah, O2 is worth a ton. So make sure to always pick those up if you can. A mini battery is good to have in case you're gonna set up a new ship. So that's good to keep around. So we made 17,000 on that, which we can use to buy a new permit from the kiosk. So if you interact with it, you can buy a new one for a certain time. We still have a couple hours, so we can use this one to do a little more before, and then you can buy a permit for a longer period of time. Usually the second one I get is 72 hours, saves you a little money, and gets you going. So yeah, that's the end of this tutorial. Hope it helps somebody. Hope everyone likes it. Yeah, and thank you very much for watching.